Okay, so here we go into game 2, guys. This is Coops90's home map. He's been picking 4 lakes for this one. Thanks for the follow at Exalt. Coops90 with the Lithuanians here. That is a solid pick for hybrid maps as well and land maps, because Lithuanians, they start with that extra... Hold on. Yeah, Lithuanians is over here. Extra 150 foot start makes your early villagers production a lot more easy. And there is actually a build over by Survivalist where you could go, I think 22 or 23 pop cast plate into knights with Lithuanians and sustain it with some crazy knights production. It's I doubt that's what Coops is going for here, but that is an option. He's now going straight for the dock area here. He's missing good 40 food to drop the dock, but if he goes for some shorefish here while the rest of the wood is being picked off, he should be able to drop a dock pretty quickly. First 5 on wood, says Alex Holt. Yeah. It makes definitely makes the dock dropping a lot easier. That's the advantage of starting with 150 foot extra for Lithuanians. You don't really need to rush that 6 on cheap in the early beginning, and you could get to the fish boom straight away. So I expect to see Coops90 spiking up in village count here just by the mere fact that he will go straight into fish. Look at this! First time wood and the first fishing ship already at 10, 11 population for Lithuanians. This is something that only Lithuanians, Persians, and Malians can do straight away. I can't think of any other cities that could easily do that, go into the stock that quickly. But this is Coops' home map after all. I'm sure he has some strategy planned for it. Lithuanians, fantastic mobile sim with their knights with potential for +4 attack from relics. Gives a nice potential Castle Age power spike. Kevz here though with Saracens for this one. Not my most obvious pick for 4 lakes, but why not? You still have the potential for market abuse, and if you have docks with basically free food income, you could go into, you could sell food to get gold income for some multiple ranges archers production, for example. And Saracens have great camels as well, so they have a mobile counter to whatever the Lithuanians bring to the table of their cavalry. But while we're catching up, let's talk a little bit of the maps as well. Again, we have some side and back golds here for Coops on this map. So nice positioning, back stone as well. If you want to go into lightest, that's nice for the potential for castles. And yeah, a hill here that it would be important for dwarf players to secure. Usually a hill in the middle of 4 lakes like this, that's something you would go for the control of. With some scouting, look at these numbers, 3 ships already, Kevz just now dropping the dock, so that's already a huge economic lead for Coops90. We should be seeing that in the food count as it goes on here as well. And let's look at the actual villager numbers, if they are somewhat even as well. Looks like both are at 15, 16, even the villager production lead for Coops90 here, so off to a strong start here. Consistent fishing ships production. Kevz already with Wolof, so pretty early Wolof for Saracens. Could suggest fast castle crossbows play here maybe. Saracens archers, they have a bonus attack against buildings. That's something you see them using regularly. Even in the field age, if you have a mass of field archers, you could rather quickly burst through houses or palisade walls. So without further ado, let's move forward to the next ages and see if there's going to be any significant action here. Kevz running forward, sacrifices scout to TC here, maybe. No, he saves it. He's cool. But 25 units for Coops already, that's obviously fishing ships as well. Getting a nice and early economic lead here, going with 3 on gold. I'm suspecting a lightning fast castle here for Coops90, maybe with some scouts to have some early army presence here. Walls up for Kevz, maybe afraid of that scouts opening for the Lithuanians here. Both players going to the feudal age at respective 27 and 25 populations here. Kevz also adding fish ships, 3 ships for now. Falling behind them with 6 ships, I guess the 6 ships of Coops90. Coops with some intelligent house and buildings walling here to funnel the aggression towards the TC as well. And with the golds somewhat easily quick walled here with just some small palisade walls there to keep the aggression off the gold. Here comes the stable, so there's going to be a little bit of fuel age action maybe from Coops90 still, if it's not just the blacksmith stables for the quick castle age click here. I'm not sure yet, we'll have to see. But yeah, here goes the blacksmith, so it could actually be a straight fast castle here for Coops90. Good move, I would say, since it's not been subject to early aggression from Saracens either. Could even deny this range from going up here from Kevz. So Kevz off to a bit of a bumpy start here. Coops doesn't quite pay attention to that one onwards. E2 TC, but there's not nearly enough villagers under the TC to take out this scout, so that's fine. And look at the cast age click here for Coops90 going up to the next stage. With knights out, he should have no trouble whatsoever contesting the archers, field age archers of Kevz, who is palisade wallings, but that's not really going to keep out the Castle Age Knights forever, especially not if Coops can snipe some early relics as well and get this extra bonus attack for his Knights line. Double range Feudal Age army here for Kevz is going to try and move forward and do some feudal damage here. Village count is deceiving here, considering that Coops is idling his TC and is already 60% Castle Age. So that's also fishing ship numbers coming into players. 7 ships for Coops, 5 ships for Kevz. 26 villagers now for Kevz, and villager total for Coops resting at 23 here, but that's just the power of Lithuanians in this map. You could get that fishboom going so early as to sustain the easy Castle Age Knights production later on. So I'm going to mainly keep a point of view on Coops for this one to see what kind of production is going. Here comes Bloodlines, and probably there's 2 stables already, amazing, and consistent fishing ships being added here. So I think Coops may have been watching survivalist videos for 4 Lakes Tactics. See, stop, because this looks oddly familiar. Both ranges producing, Bloodlines kicking in as well. Those are going to be tanky as crazy, those knights. Look at the wood count as well. Could drop TCs, could produce more fishing ships, could drop a monastery and go for that relic boost. Kevz, however, staying in the feudal age, now missing a good 400 to click up. No market just yet. With a market, you could use the Saracens market potential to buy yourself your way up to the next age if needed, but feudal age archers would be struggling against what's to come of knights forward here now. Coops keeping his tactic concealed for now. Kevz is not really aware of too much either. I think his last round around this base here was he saw the smith going up, so he might be suspecting something, but that could also be if you want to go for mass feudal age scout with Lithuanians to get the extra upgrades for extra power on your scouts. Here come the knights forward. For now, no upgrades whatsoever, but have to consider your opponent is in the feudal age still as well. Here comes the Saracens market, that's going to help out Kev's eco if needed to adjust into the next age here. He has the both buildings to click up already, so if the food income is gets there, then he could be going for the Castle Age click without any market manipulation as well. Coops looking for points of entry here. Got the defense now, which is very important for nets, especially since you'll be running into archers, maybe soon to be crossbows. Just sell a little bit of wood here or whatever, and then you're good to go. Looks like Kevz is mining stone to sell the stones to buy the Castle Age, and Coops about to enter, but just not in time here to run in. Let's see if Kevz can keep this out. He's committing a lot of villagers to walling here as he is going up to the Castle Age. Let's see if he can keep them out. It's already 6 villagers for Coops against 20 for Kevz. What Kevz could do here, while quick walling, is send in his feudal age archers inside of his walls to try and snipe knights without taking damage himself. But he seems to be going for the forward here. No fletching. And some archers trapped in the woodland here. And If Coops sees this, it's more a matter of when I think, actually. The runs into some spears now, that's bad news. But for here, 2 knights. Is it enough though? There's the hill here, so Coops could loop around the hill, use the hill advantage and pick off some few late archers here. Kevz will rapidly be losing army mass here now. He's down to 13 military for now against 7, but that's 7 Cast Age Knights against 12 or so. Actually only 8 feudal age archers, considering there were some spears in the mix as well. Didn't mean to take the thoughts. I know. I get that one. I realize you wouldn't want to take that, but you weren't really in a position to avoid it either. Once Coops sees it, he sends his knights back, and these archers are goners anyway. There are these small things though, these quick walls down here where there were knights attacking. If you send your archers inside the walls instead, you could deal some sneaky damage before the knights could get the full upgrades and everything. Let's have a look at the upgrades now, actually. +1/+1. Is that a relic already? No relics, just forging. Actually, Coops doesn't have a monster yet. Probably committing mainly into TCs, map control, and knights numbers here. Might just be a matter of time before he breaks through now. Once he gets more attack on them, should be in a great spot to just damage buildings even that more quickly. I like the quick rolls from Kevz though. He's keeping the aggression out for now and hasn't actually sustained any villager losses. But look at the overall numbers here. Let's look at fishing ships for Coops. 10 fishing ships. And for Kevz, the count is 9, so they're actually pretty even on fish. But Coops with a much earlier cast age is on 3 TCs already, and with the food for the fishing ships is more easily able to sustain triple TC production as well. Dominant display here from Coops so far on his home map. And with this amount of knights, you could even justify challenging pikemen here if you want to. Knights finally break through. Should be aiming straight for the gold here now, and Kevz will no way is going to be able to recall this. With Knight's current attack upgrades, looks like the villagers don't even have boom, but they do. And now there's an opening here for more Knights to loop in, and could be a devastating blow to Kev's eco production here. Camels in the mix. I like the addition of camels with the eco setup. He has the food income from water, so that's not going to be a challenge just yet unless the Knights take out the dock here, which is an option. Monstry could go up here if Coops doesn't address it, but he's going for the wood line for the villager kills instead, and he's just going to extend that villager lead by more here. And look at the military here. 23 for Kevz, 24 against 12. It's still pretty strong knights here. And even more outside. It looks like Coops want to loop back, actually. I mean, Coops' next play could be to add the siege workshop on this very hill here and challenge the main gold of Kevz on this side, I think. Steady flow knights and now monks in production as well. That should mean relics for Coops. Kevz not taking any other pawns here, so neither does Coops, so they are with 1 pawn each for now. No extra food income on water for either of those. Even uses the knights here to guard really close to Kev's base, so that might be the monk of Coops' first target here. He's going for the closer ones first for that power spike. Imagine if you get +4 attack on your knights for free here with the relics, then you could easily challenge pike masses as well, at least in even numbers. No upgrades on the pikes as well, as same for the defense here. That's going to help out a bit in melee attacks actually. Coops has the hill, but he's running into more pikes than he would like to encounter. So Kevz is going to take control of this relic for now, and will probably send one of his first monks straight there once he has the gold for 1. What happened to all the villagers though? They had lots more villagers in gold a moment ago. Did 3 dispose them maybe? not going for the one in the north, and Kevz so far in the game hasn't dealt any damage at all. He's falling behind with a ridiculous mass of the numbers of villagers here. Population is more villager for Kevz, so that works to his favor, even if it's just mainly pikemen. But Coops will be snagging the relics. He has a bit more map control with his town centers, and now with +2 for the knights for now, 1 relic already, yeah, going to be 2 soon enough. And this villager number here is just going to be the devastating difference here between the players. With an equal lead like this for Coops, he could even justify fighting these pikemen with his knights if he wanted to. Second armor upgrade he needs, skirmishers, elite skirmishers. Lithuanians, trash, like spears and skirmishers, are stronger as well. Here comes a castle. Could even go into lights from this one, even though it's mostly for defensive purposes maybe. Going pretty heavily into stone though, so we could be seeing Lightis into play here. Elite Lightis is a lot cheaper upgrade than Paladin come Imperial Age, so that could be a transition or addition to make as well. Monk spots the scout maybe and bails on this relic for now, but will of course be dying to this knight mass right here, and soon enough we'll be seeing Coops with 3 relics in a monastery, giving him a total of plus 5 I think for the knight. Let's see. No, that's 2 more. I think that's going to be +4 until he can snag his relic number 4 for a total of +5 for Castle Age Knight, which is huge for aggressive purposes. So it's 22 pikes with 1 defense upgrade now against 16 knights. More pikes coming into the mix. Kevz trying to assume the hill here at the very least, but now he's not guarding this relic anymore. And we could see a run in here. Let's see how the Lithuanian knights fare against the pikes here. Huh. Alright, pike numbers with defense still working out. Even with the 3 relics for Coops here. Now +4 attack, and he needs more elite skirmers in the field to handle this. And he's dropping the 3rd range now. He's going to get these numbers up and another stable as well. Let's look at the eco for Coops here. He could even be clicking Imperial Age soon. He has the castle, so he has the buildings needed to click up. He has the stone for yet another castle. Could fortify his position on this hill, but now quite a few Saracens archers moving forward here for Kevz. There's even an opening to run into here, so pikes and crossbows, no joke at this point. Knights have much attack, but with range, if Kevz has ballistics as well, he could challenge a little bit here. But look at these castles for spots for Coops here, nice spots for castle. Rushes at this one with loads of villagers here, but he has so many more villagers overall anyway, and the crossbow forward Kevz won't do anything for him, unfortunately. Army mass is larger for Kevz, but weaker overall, I would say, as well. And elite skirms are going to go into the mix for Coops here, committing mainly to knights. Here, 4 stable knights production now for Coops. And remember, the knights have the relic bonuses now +5. Coops has done a great job securing relics for itself now with 4 relics, full army Knights advantage for Coops with the relics, and full advantage of Lithuanians bonus, even playing to the strengths of having elite skirms in the mix here to handle both crossbows and pikes. So anything that Coops has on the field at this time, Coops could actually just stay with skirmishers at home now and send knights forward, because most of, if not all of Kev's army is forward now. And the elite skirms counter everything here. Kevz stuck in his own little corner here, double walling with the house walls, foundations and everything here, so he's safe for now. It's just a matter of time before he will have these ridiculous strong knights in his game. As Coops even gets into guild nets here, that's going to have his efficient ships working faster as well, going to boost his food income even further, and we could be seeing the Imperial Age click in not too long here, I think, if he goes for it. Knights could easily run in here. The monks have done the job, so losing the monks here is not too huge of a deal. And knights come to chase here now with the +5. Elite skirms dealing with the pikes over here. The pikes are out of position compared to the skirms here. So Kevz will even run into castle fire here. Looks like ballistics is in low, so he has an easier time sniping workers here. Could even snipe some fishing ships, so some advantage overall, or some value after all, for the massive crossbows here, but they will be dying rapidly to these knights now, and even as the pikemen come into the mix, it's almost equal numbers here, and elite skirms coming in from the back, and Kevz is going to be left with almost no army now by the end of this fight. Tries to run away with the knights and get some pickoffs with the elite skirms meanwhile, and all of the crossbow masses are gone more or less for Kevz. He's replenishing at home, but yeah, 40 military against 50 for now. Just consistent production actually from both players here. Not so much from Coops, might be considering to idle for the Imperial Age now. Has a pretty significant mass of both skirms and knights by now, and is being slightly passive with his army at this stage. Taking some downhill damage on the pikes though, so any pick off he can get is good for him. Trouble for Saracens as well is that they only get pikemen. They won't get past pikemen for defense against Lithuanians. That's an obvious offset for Saracens. They could, however, if the eco supports it, go into Mamluk, or of course camels. Heavy camel in the Imperial Age would be working nicely for Saracens, even against pretty relic strong Lithuanians, Knights, Cavaliers, Paladins. Looks like bad run-in for Coops here. He's going to run into the Pikes Massive. Will lose some Knights numbers here for sure. Now look at the KD 65 to 63. Pretty even matchup between these guys. But look at the builder overall. They lost long-term eco for Cooper is just so much stronger. Look at this. Going to click the Imperial Age now. Probably has the 1000 food needed. Not really clicking just yet. Might not be aware that a castle is good enough for the 2 buildings needed to click up. But definitely in the position to do so. Tries to pick off crossbows with knights here, but has to deal with the pikes as well. So a bit sloppy army management from Coops here, I would say. Not keeping the units close together. Could dodge the fights with knights here. Then again, his eco is just able to sustain anything here at this point. Could has an easy time replenishing knights. Kevz can't nearly afford to lose as much army here. His eco is weaker overall, and half the villagers total. Gets picked off 3 military for Kevz now, and Coops on the way to the Imperial Age as well. So once the Imperial Age kicks in, maybe Kevz will consider the GG here, because he's really falling behind now, especially in the army department, and the eco of course, but fish eco is helping out still, as Coops has taken another pond here. Will have even more free-ish food income on the water there. How does Kevz deal with this army mass in his bases? With only 2 on stone, defensive castle is not really an option here. Doesn't even have a castle from what I can tell. Has a TC in the middle though, so has some gold and wood income over there, but the army mass is just picked off here, and the overall military here is just crazy. 70 to 8 here. The match doesn't even go to the Imperial Age here. 64% Imperial Age is where it ends for Coops, and Kevz realizes he's too far behind in score, army, eco, everything, and taps out for the GG. We will have a game 3 here. $130 to 76, pretty nasty KD overall for Coops in the end. And overall ridiculous eco compared to his opponent. And uptime, look at this castle age time, 1424. I think that was turn 23 villagers or something, and then the fish eco boosting the food income to be able to click that and get straight into Knight's production, and even with the means to sustain fish eco. Relic gold not to be discouraged here either. 4 relics, 1300 relic gold. That's 3 gold after all. And actually, Kevz with larger army masses, but he had pikes, but that would also review main pikes, and only had the first defense upgrades, so not enough to handle Lithuanians' full power knights. So it's a 2-2. We'll be going into the next one pretty soon, and just going to need a quick break before diving into this one. Be back in just a few minutes.